NSB scandal. Adu Aboahen, your lawyer she aber court. Me dalili me isa aber court. Where you file application, you came Supreme Court. The adjourned case in Kuma there are certain irregularities in the AK feel kama you're not happy. So there is also an adjourned date there, so it's some time you apply for certain defense when the irregularities now. So due to that, they submit one application now. Supreme Court, the judge in the case now soon dismiss one now requested now because they feel there is no irregularities in the case. The fiat one case in a smooth. Come adjournment in the case one adjourning them. Judge in the way be adjourned. Yana can case it now. It's a serious case. So due to when then dismissal and she your Atta Akyea the court and Hatchkin court in proceedings, your walk out. She the other lawyers should they better Adu Aboahen them by himself in the court of law. She's got a video that explanation after I walk out, you have to watch media so can engage in share by the explanation. Got video.
Where's your guy? Where is he? Call him. In the court since 9 o'clock as scheduled by the judge. We didn't see the face of the attorney general. Other cases were being adjourned. We were waiting until all the cases were clear, giving an impression that look, this case is what matters to the judge the most. Now, yesterday I filed a motion for prohibition in the Supreme Court, saying that we are not comfortable that this judge will give us justice. I brought it to the attention of the judge. I also raised an issue that we should adjourn the case and abide the outcome of the application to the Supreme Court. The case is just next week in the Supreme Court. The judge is saying no, he won't grant us the adjournment and that he is ready to continue the case. That's why the judge is in an ambulance mood to continue the case and cannot wait for the Supreme Court for 1 week. He lives married to me, and I'm caught between the rock and the hard place. How? The ambivalence that you want to disqualify a judge from hearing the case and you sitting to continue the case. I cannot answer in the Supreme Court, so I need to leave the chamber. And then I leave him to do what he wants to do best. That's why I've left the court.
Are your client not going to be? Your client is still.
Well, my client is there. I know he can't do any legal work for himself, but they should be glad that the lawyers are saying that they can't continue with the case. They could have also gone out of the court, but they are accused persons because they agree with me. But because they are accused persons, they can't get out of the court. That's why they are there, because they are accused, but not that they endorse what the judge did.
If you go to the Supreme Court, we are not preempting, and the Supreme Court sends you back to the High Court, how will your approach be?
Well, let's leave it to the Supreme Court. I don't want to play clairvoyance, but I think we have a good case for the Supreme Court to consider. That's what we are doing. We don't know what the Supreme Court will do, and you don't want to play lottery with this very sensitive case.
But Counsel, regarding the decision by the judge, he cited 2 conflicting authorities and decisions by the Supreme Court, for which reason he used his discretion to refuse your application. How does that come to you, seeing that you chose to walk out when really he used discretion?
What discretion is on this matter, in which there is an old authority, the Supreme Court has departed from the authority, and the Supreme Court in 2020 is asserting that when there is a pending application for prohibition and the lawyer tells the judge looking after the affairs of the case that look, adjourn the case and let's wait for the Supreme Court to determine the matter. And if the judge should not do that, it implies that the judge is biased. If you see the Supreme Court decision and don't want to respect it, I can't force him to obey the Supreme Court, which is at the summit of the justice delivery system. I think we'll have a day in the Supreme Court.